What is the issue you want the federal party leaders to focus on?
Groceries. Getting that price down, because it has been, like, I moved from Ontario to here 5 years ago, a little over, and I mean, even going home to visit, the price of groceries in Ontario is still expensive, but it's much less than here. Even like if you look at like gas, what we pay for filling up the car every day is 20, 30 cents more than like my family in Ontario, and they'll complain about, oh man, it's $1.20 here, and I'm like, yeah, it's $1.80 here, man. Like, I don't know. You don't have any like sympathy for me.
More doctors, more nurses for health care, for number one. That'll do me. Keep us all going.
Affordability. I think the housing crisis has gotten to the point that it's crunching every other sector, and that's what's really going to crush the economy. Is too much of people's daily income is being taken up by housing costs and just trying to get day-to-day living costs.
Oh, the economy is a big one. There's no doubt about that. I don't. There's so many. So it's hard to pinpoint one. Certainly, the economy is a challenge for most people. Individuals like fixed seniors, it's a challenge, becoming more of a challenge all the time. I'm recently retired. I'm fortunate because I do have a pension, but I look at other people who are not as in the same boat as I am. So there's no doubt everything has gotten more expensive. Groceries being one, and of course we live on an island, which makes everything a bit more expensive. So
climate change, first and foremost. Because it's beyond kicking the can down the road. It's getting more serious all the time. We're passing milestones in climate destruction that we might not see the other side of. We may not come back from.
Housing. They have a policy of increasing the population, but they don't seem to be putting anything into place to provide for newcomers or young people to be able to buy. There's nothing to buy, and if there is something to buy, it's too expensive, and the interest rates are too high.
Oh, I think in general we need housing. I think that's the big thing. I think people need places to stay. I think less people would need help in the hospital if they had a home to stay in. I think that could fix a lot of things.
The issue, I think, is just getting in touch with Canadians. There's a lot of people that, when you walk around, have different opinions, and a lot of times they feel like they're not represented. If the federal government could take a moment, sit down with people, and listen to them, a lot of people would raise what is important to them, because everybody has their own issue, and they don't feel listened to.
Yeah, housing, homelessness, I think.
Why that one?
I just think it's just such a basic human necessity, and like we can't really move forward with other larger scale issues when people don't have the basic necessities.
Housing.
And why housing?
Obviously there's a shortage across Canada. It's driving up prices and people can't afford to get decent living accommodations.
The biggest of all of them, I would say probably the housing crisis. I think that's probably the biggest issue that Canada is facing right now. Not just the homeless population, but also like rising real estate markets and also rent prices. I feel like it's just getting unaffordable for anyone to live in Canada right now.
If there was a little bit more regulation on how much mortgage rates could be increased by, that's going to affect how much rent can be increased by, which also should be implemented. And as well with grocery stores having regulations on how much more they can charge for food than they did before, because those are really, it's really getting to a situation in Canada where people don't have spending money beyond necessities, Rent is, 2/3 of your monthly wage, and then there's bills, and then, and then food is just ridiculously expensive. And I'm having a hard time, and I don't have any kids or pets, and some people have kids and pets, and so, I really worry about people in those situations and how they're getting by, especially.
The high rent, this is really killing everybody. Even if you make like $200,000 a year, still rent is not affordable anymore in this town.
Healthcare is the biggest thing, I think, because most of our population is getting to that older age, and that's going to cause a lot of blockage in a lot of nursing homes or healthcare issues and stuff. The biggest issue is having doctors, stuff like that, and especially out here. I think I have friends out here and they can't still get a doctor and they're waiting. So
I'd want the federal party leaders to focus on bringing people together more, not polarizing people as much, and helping people out.
The rising cost of living. You know, everybody, that affects everyone. And, you know, consider most people now, like I have a good job, but some people call it the working poor. And that's what Canada has turned into the last few years. You know, they're coming after every penny you have and don't have.
The major issue is climate change. Climate change. We have to take climate change seriously. We can't just skirt around it and bury our heads in the sand. This is going to be a major issue for the whole world, including us. Yes, climate change. Underlined.
All levels of government talk about building affordable housing. Affordable for who? Not for the people who desperately need it. And that's where we have to concentrate, getting people off the street and into proper housing.